When the current starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, Shadur Sanders, was asked how he felt about stepping into such a big role as a fifth-round draft pick, he didn't blink. He looked at the reporter and said, "I'm what they've been looking for." A lot of people probably thought, who is this guy? How dare a fifth-round draft pick speak with such confidence? It sounds extreme, right? That's how many people react when they first hear about the carnivore diet. No plants, mostly meat. That sounds extreme as well. But what if for some of you, carnivore really is what your body has been looking for? And if you're new here, hi, I'm Dr. Tony Hampton, a board-certified obesity and family medicine physician. I use low-carb, keto, and carnivore with real patients and real lab work. In this video, I want to show you why I don't see carnivore as crazy, but I do see what we're doing with chronic diseases as extreme. Let me introduce you to a composite patient I've seen many times. We'll call her Denise. She's in her 50s with type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, joint pain, reflux, and constant fatigue. Her pantry is full of healthy foods: oatmeal, whole wheat bread, low-fat yogurt, granola bars. She's counting calories, avoiding fat, trying to move more, and her A1C is still high. If you want to talk about extreme, that life is extreme. We nudged her toward low carb and cut sugar. She improved a little, but the cravings, pain, and afternoon crashes never fully left. So I said, for 30 days, let's do the thing that sounds extreme to your friends, but might be the most logical thing for your metabolism. So we moved her to a mostly animal foods-based diet: beef, eggs, other types of meat, salt, water, coffee. No calorie counting, just real food until she was comfortably full. Within a few weeks, she said, "I don't recognize my mornings." Her joint pain eased. Afternoon crashes faded. Reflux calmed. On her labs, triglycerides dropped, HDL improved, her blood sugar stabilized, and we started reducing medications instead of adding more. That story isn't a one-off. When my patients go carnivore or very close to it, I see patterns over and over: less joint pain and bloating, better energy and sleep, fewer cravings, more stable mood, and on lab work, lower triglycerides, better HDL, more stable glucose and insulin, improved blood pressure. LDL may go up in some people, but when it does, I don't ignore it. I put it in context with inflammation, other markers like LDL particles and ApoB to A ratios, and the person sitting in front of me. So why can a carnivore diet work so well, especially for people who feel stuck? First, insulin and blood sugar. If most of your meals are built on cereal, bread, pasta, juice, and snacks, insulin is yelling all day long. That bouncer hormone is overworked. When we sharply lower carbs and focus on animal foods, insulin finally quiets down. Blood sugar stops looking like a roller coaster, and that's when fatigue and mood swings begin to calm. Second, hunger and cravings. Protein and fat send a strong "we're fed" signal to the brain. A plate of eggs and steak keeps most people satisfied for hours. You're suddenly walking past donuts at work, not because you turned into a monk, but because your hormones are screaming for sugar. Third, inflammation and gut rest. Many patients come to me with IBS, reflux, autoimmune issues, and constant bloating. Their diet is full of seed oils, sugar, refined grains, and healthy packaged foods. Carnivore removes a huge list of irritants in one move. It becomes a powerful elimination diet. It quiets the noise, lets things heal. Then, if you choose, test what your body can tolerate later. Now let's tackle the two extreme objections. Won't all that protein destroy your kidneys? In people with normal kidney function, high protein is not the villain it's been made out to be. I follow kidney labs. For those with advanced disease, we individualize and sometimes choose a different plan. But the average person with metabolic syndrome is not wrecking their kidneys by swapping cereal for steak. What about cholesterol? Aren't you clogging arteries? Some people see LDL rise on carnivore, others don't. At the same time, we often see triglycerides drop, HDL rise, blood pressure improve, and markers of insulin resistance and inflammation get better. The cardiovascular damage I've seen comes from sugar and processed food. No fiber. You'll never poop again. In the short term, bowel habits can change while the gut adapts. Things might slow down or speed up, but long term, many carnivores, including myself, report less bloating, less gas, less pain, and more predictable trips to the bathroom. When you eat food that is highly absorbed, there's simply less waste. You'll be nutrient deficient without plants. Animal foods are packed with bioavailable nutrients: iron, B12, zinc, choline, omega-3s, and fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K2, plus essential amino acids. I'm not anti-plant, I'm anti-misery. For some of my sickest patients, removing plants for a season and focusing on animal foods finally calms the immune system and the gut. Later, we can cautiously reintroduce some low-sugar, lower-toxic plant foods and see how the body responds to it if desired. I choose to be a carnivore. You choose what's best for you. So who is carnivore especially helpful for? People with severe metabolic syndrome and stubborn insulin resistance. People who have tried every diet and still feel chained to cravings. People with autoimmune or gut issues who feel inflamed all the time. For them, carnivore can feel like finally putting the right quarterback in the game after years of running the wrong playbook. So who needs more guardrails? Those with a history of eating disorders, advanced kidney disease, pregnant or breastfeeding women. They may still benefit from carnivore principles, but usually do better with more flexible, closely supervised low-carb approach. I had one patient, a husband who dragged him in, sit down and say, "Doc, I'm not joining your meat cult." I laughed and said, "Good, I don't want a cult. I want results. Give me 30 honest days." 30 days later, he was down in weight. His blood pressure was better. His digestion calmer. His energy up. He shook his head and said, "I thought this was extreme. Now my old lifestyle looks a little more extreme." So if you're watching this and thinking, carnivore just sounds too wild, here are a few ideas to consider and to share. Number one, extreme is staying sick on a long list of medications and not eating steak and eggs because of outdated fears. Number two, carnivore can be a healing phase, not a life sentence. Think of it as an elimination diet plus metabolic reset. Number three, this is not about worshiping meat. It's about using the right tool for the right person at the right time, with proper monitoring. So do me a favor, if a carnivore or carnivore-ish way of eating has helped you, share your story in the comments. That might be exactly what someone else has been looking for. And if you're skeptical but curious, you're welcome here. Ask your question. Let's talk about it like adults who want healing, not like fans arguing over football teams. And if this video gave you a new perspective, tap like, make sure you're subscribed, and share it with a person who keeps telling you carnivore is too extreme. Don't let extreme, outdated beliefs keep you from healing. A better version of you might be right around the corner.